Tonight, the debate stretched into the evening, but an historic property tax hike is now officially approved by City Council.
We have a budget that really helps build a city that's more caring, more affordable, and safer where everyone belongs.
How the mayor continued selling her spending plan even after the vote came down, and why another piece approved in the budget drew protests inside council chambers.
Our baby, you know? Yeah. Our baby's all grown up now.
Plus, Pascal Siakam's triumphant and emotional return to Toronto.
We will treat this as a Valentine's Day gift for the city and for the province and beyond.
And a little Valentine's gift from the ROM. Details on the new digs coming to Ontario's museum. Hey there, good evening. I'm Chris Glover. Thank you for joining us. Property taxes are going up in Toronto. That's just one of the big takeaways from Budget Day at City Hall. After weeks of debate, City councillors approving a 9.5% hike. City Hall reporter Sean Jeffords has the details.
After 6 long weeks, Mayor Olivia Chow's budget passed tonight. City Council has endorsed that 9.5% property tax hike, and that will be the largest property tax increase since amalgamation in 1998, over 25 years now. So city residents will have to begin to figure out how they can work that into their budgets. And the mayor has been honest about the need to balance the restoration of some services while also addressing the city's $1.8 billion deficit and work away at staunching these the bleeding here of the city books and addressing this structural issue that really has developed over the course of a number of years and really was exacerbated during the pandemic. A lot of things happened in this marathon session today at City Council. Let's have a listen to Mayor Olivia Chow.
You know what I learned about today? And someone gave it to me as a present. We are stronger together. When the residents, businesses, all the councillors work together, we have a budget that really helps build a city that's more caring, more affordable, and safer where everyone belongs.
So there'll be a lot of questions about where we go from here, and the budget is passed, but city staff have been very cautious about suggesting that the city's structural deficit has been fixed or fully addressed, and the discussion seems to be shifting now to back to perhaps longer term solutions, like potentially a municipal sales tax or a cut of the federal income tax. These are discussions that Mayor Olivia Chow says need to continue to happen with upper levels of government while the city tends to its own books, and part of that was increasing property taxes to the level that we've seen today. No doubt it's a controversial move, but the mayor was prepared to do it and defended it again by saying the city needs to pull its own weight. Sean Jeffords, CBC News, Toronto.
Another key point of debate, the budget for Toronto Police. Toronto councillors moving to approve the full amount police were asking for, even getting support from the mayor. But as Tyler Cheese tells us, it wasn't without some fireworks in council chambers.
Defund the police! Child Tory! Same old story! Cops make us poor!
Tensions began high at today's budget meeting as some members of the public were removed by security. They were there to protest the $20 million increase to the police budget that Mayor Olivia Chow had also previously opposed. That is, until she changed her tune yesterday.
We have now confirmed that there will be extra funding from the provincial and the federal government, which is good news. It means that we don't have to go and cut other programs in order to find the money to support the police.
The police will now receive the full increase they've been asking for, with Chow saying money will be set aside for the police in the city's reserves for Ottawa and the province to repay later. But not everyone's happy with that call.
The police budget has increased steadily over time when a lot of other city services have been defunded, have been starved.
Others want more exact details about the funding.
If you're coming out and announcing that there's some sort of commitment, I think she owes it to council and to the public to make that very clear.
All eyes were also on the mayor's proposed 9.5% property tax increase, the largest the city's seen in more than 25 years.
You're not going to see the benefits of this, and they're going to be right back here in the same situation next year asking for another wallop of a tax increase.
But supporters of the increase say it will ultimately benefit the city.
I think it is reasonable to expect people to contribute to ensure that we're able to keep TTC on time, make sure that those service levels are rising, make sure that affordable housing is addressed.
This morning, the mayor framed this budget as a caring one, and you can really sense that in some of the other approvals made today. So City Council voted to reinstate a snow clearing program that'll help out a lot of seniors in the winter, and there's also funding in the budget to improve transit and to go towards the city's art sector. Tyler Cheese, CBC News, Toronto.
Now to the emotional Valentine's date Raptors fans had with Pascal Siakam. The now former Raptor returned to Scotiabank Arena for the very first time tonight after getting traded a month ago to the Indiana Pacers. But even playing for the opposing team, fans had nothing but love for Spicy P. Anam Khan is live outside Scotiabank Arena. And Anam, tell us more about how the team honored Siakam tonight.
Oh, Chris, it was so beautiful. Siakam seemed so humbled. He looked so humbled when he stepped on center stage, getting all this recognition from the fans. And I was speaking to a sports analyst, and here's an interesting thing. When Siakam left, one of his parting concerns was being forgotten by the Raptors, the fans, the city. And when he came on center court today, there was a sea of people just wearing Siakam jerseys.
Thank you to Canada as a country. Thank you to Toronto as a city. And that's always be the story. Like, it will always be Toronto's home.
A video tribute blasted on the Jumbotron. As this Valentine's Day, Raptors fans had love for one man. It's the homecoming of Spicy P, Pascal Siakam, a former Raptors star.
He's our baby, you know? Our baby's all grown up now.
Tonight was Siakam's first game against the Raptors. He was traded to the Indiana Pacers a month ago. The arena was filled with Siakam's old Raptors jerseys. Fans proud of the player's 8-year journey in Toronto.
I'm just in love with Siakam, and I hope we get married one day.
After practice this morning, Siakam spoke about feeling weird coming to Scotiabank as a visitor for the first time.
Seeing the building, obviously, like, a lot of memories here. Like, you definitely, like, you feel comfortable, you know? Like, I mean, I know I have a different jersey on, but just coming into this building is again, it just brings back a lot of good things.
The beloved player was instrumental in winning the NBA championship in 2019. But it wasn't just on the court where he made a big impact. In 2021, he started an education not-for-profit for young people, with many local charities jumping on board.
His legacy is one that really embodies the last 15 years of Raptors basketball. When Masai Ujiri first joined the Toronto Raptors, there was this major emphasis on development and finding, gems in the rough, if you will, finding guys who they can cultivate into these stars. And Pascal Siakam is the example of that.
Siakam's legacy was celebrated inside and outside the arena. McDonald's handing out free jerseys and the famous Siakam Swirl McFlurry, which launched last year and officially bid farewell today. The drink was inspired by the Raptors' team colors and Siakam's iconic spin move.
Just to, say thanks to him and just to give, people a proper farewell, give him a proper send-off.
Siakam played really well today. He had 23 points to lead the Pacers against the Raptors. And in speaking with the fans, they didn't really care much about the outcome of the game. They're genuinely really happy for Siakam and they want him to do well.
At these little valentines, and they have Pascal Siakam's face in a heart, and it says, "I swish we could spend more time together." You gave this to me just a couple hours ago, and it's so sweet. Thank you very much, my Valentine.
Thank you.
All right, on to hockey now. And Leafs defender Morgan Rielly will appeal his 5-game suspension to Commissioner Gary Bettman. Since the ban didn't exceed 5 games, this was his only option to potentially lower his penalty. Rielly was issued the suspension yesterday for cross-checking Sens forward Ridley Gregg in the final seconds of Saturday's loss. He's already served his first game in last night's matchup against the St. Louis Blues, and this is Rielly's first career suspension. All right, looking live at Toronto tonight, and a lovely Valentine's Day evening for all the lovers out there. -4 right now, and next to no wind tonight, so it's feeling about the same, -5. Victor Paolo is here with a first check on the forecast. And Victor, not much wind tonight, but that will soon change with the wind. Snow is certainly coming our way.
That's right, Chris. We're going to be expecting that snow to finally come our way tomorrow. Valentine's Day was a beautiful sunny one, but it did get colder as we're expecting temperatures to drop down to -8, feeling like -14 by the time we get to the thick of the overnight. Now, quick headlines to look at. Strong winds are going to be a big factor tomorrow with that snow that's happening. Expecting periods where there might be some sideways snow, and we do have some lake effect snow coming towards this weekend. Now, average temperatures this time of year, -1.5 is your average high, -10 is your average low. We do have a special weather statement in issue for the majority of southeastern Ontario. We're all expecting roughly around 5 to 10 centimeters to fall. Now, here's that wind we've been talking about earlier. You see it's going to be coming in quite strong, 75 kilometers per hour. And a quick look at your 3-day forecast. Well, we got that snow coming Thursday and that lake effect snow coming Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Over to you, Chris, and looking forward to talking a little bit more weather soon.
Good. We will talk to you again a little later on in the show. The Toronto Region Board of Trade announcing today the creation of a task force that'll look at ways to reduce traffic congestion from construction projects.
People are having real trouble getting from A to B, getting from home to work and back again. And then when you look at the numbers, so you got all the anecdotes, all the war stories that you hear from commuters, from businesses that are trying to transport or deliver services and goods from one part of the region, Toronto region, to the other. It's taking so much time. There's so much lost time.
I probably don't have to tell you, but data from a global traffic index finds Toronto drivers spend 98 hours stuck in rush hour traffic each year, giving the city the longest commute times in North America. The task force will bring together local businesses to tackle the congestion issue, and they say it's costing the local economy $11 billion a year in lost productivity and also hurting the city's reputation globally. They hope to release a report that includes an action plan by the end of the year. Labor action to tell you about now from some rideshare drivers. Today here in Toronto and in other locations internationally, there were protests opposing what the drivers call unfair labor practices. Dale Manukduk has more on the protest and why Uber is saying it didn't have an impact.
People will say, oh, if you don't like it, just get a real job. Guess what? Gig work is real work. Okay?
The Rideshare Drivers Association of Ontario and other gig workers are looking for fair pay.
Toronto is already known to be a very expensive place to live, and we're just, I'm sorry, below minimum wage for city-regulated workers is unacceptable.
Good morning, drivers.
But the issue stretches beyond Toronto. The strike action took place around the world.
Make sure to turn off your apps today. Don't be going out to work.
RDAO co-authored a report called Legislated Poverty. It says drivers can make as little as $6 per hour in Toronto. That's well below the provincial minimum wage rate of $16.55. The report was made using weekly stubs from 96 drivers, which is a tiny fraction of the more than 50,000 drivers licensed to operate in Toronto. In a statement, Uber says the vast majority of drivers are satisfied, earnings remain strong, and as of last quarter, drivers in Toronto are making $33.35 during engaged time per hour before tips. Engaged time refers only to when there's a rider in the car, and that figure doesn't factor in costs drivers pay to operate. Even engaged time isn't worth it for some.
I usually drive a downtown area. People are booking only 2 kilometers, like it take me 40 minutes plus. How much I'm getting is just $4 or $5, which is totally a waste of time and gas.
Uber says strike action rarely impacts operations. There were plenty of rides available during the protest. Dale Manukduk, CBC News, Toronto.
In Brantford, a woman who faked pregnancies, harassed and fraudulently sought the services of doulas across Ontario was sentenced today to 2 years of house arrest. 25-year-old Caitlin Braun pleaded guilty in December to 21 charges, including fraud, indecent acts, false pretenses, and mischief. This after seeking the help of doulas in what ended up being false pregnancies and stillbirths. The crimes were committed between June 2022 and February of last year. Braun also receiving 3 years of probation. She must wear a GPS ankle bracelet and undergo mandatory counseling. Welcome back. Canada's most visited museum is getting a makeover, a 3-year project to make the Royal Ontario Museum more open and accessible to visitors. Will create a slick new meeting place free of charge. And Patrick Swadden shows us what's new at the ROM.
We will treat this as a Valentine's Day gift for the city and for the province and beyond.
Royal Ontario Museum CEO Josh Bassagets didn't give us chocolates today, but what he did give us was a glimpse into Open ROM, a 3-year revitalization project that will transform the museum's entrance and main floor, make it more accessible, and offer new programming and performances. But here's the kicker.
We'll be making our reimagined main floor free and open to all without a ticket all year round once the construction is done.
An open space, they say, to meet friends, even if you aren't seeing an exhibit. The ROM says this project will completely reimagine the entrance behind me, the whole main floor, and the guest experience. And at a projected cost of $130 million, they've raised about 2/3 of that, $80 million, so far all through private donations. The biggest chunk of that, $50 million, coming through the Hennick Family Foundation.
Just visit the ROM, visit corners of it over the course of time, and you'll see things that will blow you away.
Which is exactly why the museum wants to be more open, bringing the public closer to its 13 million items and 40 galleries.
You don't just hide them away. These are your most cherished works.
Siamak Hariri and his firm Hariri Pontarini are behind the vision. The Bloor Street entrance will have a new water and ice feature, season depending. A canopied entrance takes visitors into a redesigned lobby where they'll be able to look right into the museum's galleries. A little beyond is the Hennick Common, where the architects will be literally raising the roof and opening it to the skies. That common area will be the home of future performances, free for those attending.
We want people to feel like this is their place. This is their living room.
So that you truly feel like, oh my goodness, this is my place? Wow, someone actually, this really does feel like I and the ROM are somehow connected and that the ROM cares about me.
The museum will stay open throughout construction, rerouting visitors through the Queen's Park entrance to the southeast. That all begins later this month. Patrick Swadden, CBC News, Toronto.
All right, a beautiful, calm evening tonight, but that is about to change in a hurry. Victor, you're watching a real X factor that's switching up our weather starting tomorrow night.
Wind is going to be the word of the night tomorrow, Chris. Right around this time tomorrow, right around when we're expecting that late show to start, it's going to be around 75 km/h winds. Chris, you and I both know that is a big speeding ticket in our neighborhoods. Should be driving cars at that speed. Now, here's what we're going to be expecting when it comes to the potential snowfall amounts. We will be over here in the GTA, and as you can tell by our lovely legend, about 5 to 10 centimeters is expected to fall in our area. But if you're around this region over here, right by the Great Lakes, you will notice you'll be getting more snow, closer to 15, potentially 20 centimeters. But it's always great news if you're an outdoor enthusiast during the winter time, because there'll be lots to do, especially right around here when it comes to your weekend, if you're a big fan of being outdoors in the snow. Now, here's what's ahead when it comes to that snow that's falling. Now, we take a bit of a stroll down to our morning, right around 9 o'clock, here's that mixed precipitation that's going to start. But as we get in towards noon, 3 o'clock, this is right around where we're going to be expecting the snow to start falling. This is where the wind gusts will pick up. This is where we're expecting to see the wind turn sideways. But right around the time the 6 o'clock show ends, here we are, things start to clear up, but eventually get ourselves back to regular scheduled temperatures for winter. The reason I say regular scheduled temperatures for winter, because -6 is what we're expecting it to get to when the show's done. Going to dip down to -8, feeling like -14 in the middle of all that cold. And Thursday and Friday are going to be the days where we're getting back to seasonal winter temperatures, and that is exactly what I mean. Now, taking a look at our 3-day forecast and our 5-day forecast, we can see that those regular scheduled seasonal temperatures are going to end by the time we get towards Saturday, Sunday, Monday, because we're going to be finding ourselves back to more of that milder winter with daytime highs such as 2. Well, Toronto, happy Valentine's Day. We got ourselves a bit of snow coming tomorrow. Over to you, Chris.
Yeah, a bit of a rough ride tomorrow. All right, thank you, Victor. Union Station is launching a free art exhibit coinciding with Black History Month.
During Black History Month, a lot of times we like to look in the past, and we also talk about the present as well. But I feel like the future is the most important part, because without us like dreaming and looking forward and trying to see what we can do to make things better, or what kind of spaces we can take up to like create more of a representation of Black youth, especially Black youth in the community. So I feel like showing children that they're able to dream, that it's okay to dream, and I feel like this was a great exhibition or exhibit to showcase that we're still dreaming, no matter how old you are, how young you are.
The exhibit is called Black Dreams and Aspirations. It started as an open call to artists to address this question: what does it mean to dream while Black? 12 artists were chosen, with their artwork exploring themes of community, connection to the past, creativity, and the power of imagination. Now, the exhibit runs until August. For Valentine's Day, love is certainly in the air at the Toronto Zoo. 2 snow leopards were introduced to each other, and it was love at first sight.
A few days before we actually introduced them, we gave them what's called a howdy, which is kind of nose-to-nose contact through a physical barrier, which is like a mesh barrier. And there was lots of rubbing and like chuffing at each other. So we knew that like she was kind of getting ready.
So a howdy allows the animals to see, smell, and hear one another through a barrier and lets them get comfortable with each other without the risk of violence. The matchmaking is part of the Species Survival Plan, a breeding program for endangered animals. Now, a few days ago, we told you about a unique way to get back at an ex-lover. All you needed was $50 and a thirst for revenge. Well, the fix is in, and the names have now been released just in time for Valentine's Day. A pet adoption center launched the program called Neuter Your Ex. It lets people name a feral cat after their former partner right before it's spayed or neutered. It's meant to reduce the feral population in the area. And sorry to say, but if your name is Jeff, Mike, Ian, or Tyler, there are plenty of cats with your name roaming the New Jersey area, freshly neutered. But anybody hoping to fully humiliate an ex might have been disappointed. The center did not allow surnames. All right, happy Valentine's to all of you out there. That is it for us tonight. I'll be back with you tomorrow night at 6 and 11. Hope to see you then.